Hello, welcome to another episode of PHNX Mercury Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Listen, y'all, it's been a week of Mercury basketball already, and we are pumped. I'm Corbin. As always, going with the amazing team. We have Aaliyah, we have Mallory. Ladies, how are we doing tonight?
Can't complain. I'm outside, sitting by the pool. It's a nice, cool breeze. Doing good.
Jealous.
Aaliyah's living it up.
Yeah.
Mallory, how are you? Congrats to Miami Heat. I know we're about to get even to Mercury, but they're going to Eastern Conference Finals. I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yes, just finished watching the game, and Heat in 6. That's all I gotta say.
Oh snap! Okay, regardless of opponent, I love it.
Regardless, Bucks, Celtics, either one. Heat in 6.
There it is. Okay, look at that. We got hot takes already. Well, listen, we've gone through 2 games of the Mercury season so far. When you last saw us, we were pumped. We were the night of the Mercury's first game. We're going to talk about that game, and then we're going to try to breeze past because, it happened, and that was a thing. But I think that just a couple of days ago, the Mercury's win over the Storm was a lot more indicative of what this team is going to be. But before we get into that, let's first start off with, of course, the first matchup of the season for the Mercury against Las Vegas Aces. A lot of hype around that game, seeing the new look Aces, their new coach, and the new style that she was going to implement. We talked just so much about how pumped we were to see this team. And, the Aces, man, they played well. And, let's just go into it. They beat the Mercury 106-88. Again, we do have to put some qualifiers out. Both Breonna Turner and Diamond Shields are still traveling back. They were not with the team. That being said, the Aces, they kind of went crazy, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. I know I don't know why I was shocked at first, because some of my amazing Twitter followers humbled me and reminded me that this is the Phoenix Mercury. We never really have a good first game, and especially at Flipgrid Center. So I was like, you know what? You're right. I think it was a learning experience. That's what I like to call those games, right? And like you said, we were down Diamond and down Turner, and clearly we cleaned things up second time around. So I think it was good. We saw where our weak spots were, and you know what? You just gotta move on. You just take those learning experiences as they are and see what you got to do to pick it up next time.
Absolutely. Amali, did you have any shock initially just seeing? Mind you, the Mercury came off, and you said this, Aaliyah, slow starts in terms of the first game are kind of a thing for the Mercury, but wow, the Aces went on just a tremendous start. First half they had as big of a lead as 28 points. They had out-rebounded the Mercury 25-9 in the first half. It was definitely a shot in the arm for the Aces, but the Mercury just, again, trying to get themselves back in, already short-handed, but it felt like, oh, snap, I was not expecting this.
Yeah, I think, like Aaliyah said, I was shocked at first, just how badly the Aces were beating the Mercury, but then you kind of have to realize the WNBA, you don't have that many preseason games, as well as some players still being overseas and stuff. So the first regular season game is just kind of to see how everyone fits together, what rotations you want to do, and all that. So, we saw it in the second game. I think that's the Mercury team we're going to see all season.
Exactly. We're about to dive right into that. I'm really pumped for the second game in Seattle and just how well the Mercury played as full strength as we're probably going to see this season. Before we do, though, we already kind of the ugly. If we're going to play the game of good, bad, and ugly for this Aces game, the ugly was the score. The ugly was the first half. It wasn't a good time to be a Mercury fan on Twitter checking out. I was just like, oh man, it was pretty rough. I think the bad obviously was that first half as well. Just kind of specifically the out-rebounding. To be fair, the Mercury picked it up tremendously in the second half. It's just a lot to make up to an Aces team that shot, better than 50% from the field and from 3 all game. So that was a lot. Corian Baines, Free BG, absolutely. And yeah, that is the hope. And we're going to hopefully have some news on that in another week or so. We'll kind of see where that goes. But in terms of coming back from such a tremendous deficit, it just was kind of hard to do, And the Aces, to their credit, have been on fire all week, all season so far. I hate to say all season, it's been 1 week, but when they're lights out, they're lights out. But I want to talk about the good just before we go back to Seattle. And I feel like one shining player, we're going to talk about the PHNX player of the week, and we're going to unveil here for y'all in a minute. But one player I thought that really stood out in game 1 was diggins-smith. Offensively, she had a game-high 25 points for both teams on 10-18 shooting. Really went off in the third quarter. I thought that she helped set the tone. Did y'all notice anything just from her play that was interesting? Were any of the players that you were looking at in that first game that were, some player that, hey, rough situation, down by a lot, but I love the energy they bring in, love the shot making, what have you.
Yeah, I mean, I think between her and Tina, like, they carried the offense, right? Like, especially Skylar. She came in, she knew what she was doing. I mean, as always, right? Like, she's a veteran. You can always count on her, and she knows how to make baskets fall. And I think a little bit back on what, you were talking about just being outshot by aces. I mean, De'Erica, Kelsey, and Jackie all had over 20 points. We couldn't compete with that, right? Like, that was just lights out. And we knew they were coming in. We talked about it last show. Their coach was going to start letting them shoot threes. And I mean, they just brought the offense. And I think, you said the ugly was the score. Yes. But I think what was uglier was our defense. We just did not bring it. And, we said it last time. If they can come in consistent, not necessarily bigger and better than the other team, then, we might be able to hold our own. And they just weren't bringing the heat that way. And so we got outshot. Those baskets fell. And I think, as much as we don't want to admit it, don't want to talk about it, like we could tell BG was missing, right? Like her force on both offense and defense is undeniable, and not having that consistency and that not only veteran, but Phoenix veteran to lay on was detrimental to us.
That's an excellent point, Aaliyah, especially around the boards. And you said, I think it's almost the 1-2 kind of wham effect of not having BG first and foremost, but then Brianna Turner usually bringing in. We saw the impact she had, both defensively and on the glass in Seattle's game. But not having either of that, you're looking at, and to her credit, Megan Gustafson played well. And we'll talk about her, obviously in the show here. And I think the Mercury did their best. But like when Diana Taurasi's leading the way with 4 rebounds, there's not a whole lot to say in the good category for that. So I think you're right. Having a player like that, who BG historically against the Aces has been dominant. We saw what she did, last playoff series, but also not having a Brianna Turner as well, someone to kind of help out there and who stepped up big in Grinder's absence in the past. That's a really, really good point. But looking from that game, we can that was almost one of those games. I think we can all agree, those like dustpan games, you just sweep it up, let it go. Trash. I'm sure there's a bunch of acronyms or names for it. But that game, I think we can move on with, especially since you look at the Mercury after that, 4 days of prep, and then 2 very big, very important pieces join the team for the first time. We're looking at Diamond DeShields, and we're looking at the aforementioned Brianna Turner. And so when they do play the Seattle Storm, listen, I'm going to throw it to you, Aaliyah. Just what were you excited about going in to Seattle's game? Obviously having, again, more or less the full roster that we're going to be kind of fielding. But also, like, did you have a player that you were specifically highlighting to step up in this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, excited to have Turner, excited to have DeShields back, especially after we got to shout out DeShields' story, like the comeback. I didn't know that was happening. I don't think anyone knew that was happening. And so hearing about her last couple of years and all of the amazing things that she's overcome it was exciting to see someone like that coming to the team already. Like outside of that, I was excited, but this is really like her redemption round, right? Like she's coming in 110%. So I was really excited to see her, but excited to just see an overall what the team's going to look like, how they're going to run, like where are they going to start getting comfortable with each other, running, a cleaner offense, kind of getting a more high energy defense. I was excited to just see consistency. And I said that a million times last week. Like clearly we know that they can do what they need to do when they have that complete team. And so seeing them start to get into that groove was what was going to be most exciting to me. And we got to discount a little bit. Like Seattle didn't have Brianna Stewart, which is a key part of their team as well. And so kind of still seeing us do as well as we did against such a stacked team like Seattle gives me a lot more hope for the future, right? Moving forward, we have a really long season to go, and we have some key people coming in, like down the road. We're going to have Connecticut. We're going to have Mystics were, shocked me a little bit. We're going to have LA with Cam Beige, who's talking a big talk, says they're going to win a ring this year. So I guess we'll see, right? Like, so I think it just gave me hope to see how early they were able to just come together and merge as a unit and not necessarily individual players like they were on against the Aces.
Excellent point, Aaliyah. Definitely. I think first off, shout out again to bringing out the story that we heard on ESPN over the weekend about Diamond Shields and what she had gone through, and just the strength and just internal power that both she had and her family and friends to kind of get past that. For context, Diamond Shields had just a couple of years ago a benign tumor removed from her spinal column, and unfortunately, just because of where it was, she basically learned to walk again and get those basic functions, much less going back to her high level of play of the WNBA. And it's so crazy. It's almost a check for myself, because we were talking to Leah and I think Mallory as well early, just one of our early shows, we were kind of getting on. I was like, well, she had a really strong year and then she kind of fell off the last couple of seasons. So who knows how play we're going to get. And it just is an example for myself, I'm sure for others as well, that you really don't know what people are
Absolutely.
going through, and yeah, like athletes is one thing, but also the human side of it. I had no clue. I'm just looking at the numbers, looking at the play, and we're like, oh, this, that, and the other. Like, she went down. And mind you, I didn't think I was saying it wrong, but it's obviously a humbling experience for myself to go, wow, like, there's only so much to speak upon a person from what you see on the court and not know all the struggles they're doing behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was.
Absolutely. I mean, I was like thinking about it today. Like, this is like a season of meaningful like stories, right? Like, we have everything going on with Brittany, everything that Diamond's been going through, so many shifts, so many changes, new coach, I'm like, I don't know any other team that's like going through what we're going through, but still playing at this elite level and showing out and already starting off the season really, really strong.
Absolutely. I think perseverance is probably one of those big prevailing qualities we're seeing from this Mercury squad. But going to that game against Seattle, and like you said, Seattle was already shorthanded. Brianna Stewart was in COVID protocols after their most recent game. And I mean, that's another subject we saw with the Washington Mystics, another case of that happened to Natasha Cloud. But the Mercury came in, they had their two additions back, they filled the full roster, and they proceeded to lay the smackdown on the Seattle Storm, going away basically 97-77. It was a close game for the first half, I want to say, more or less, but in the third quarter, and even in the third quarter, I think the Mercury was starting to exact more of their will there. The fourth quarter, they ran away with a 26-point fourth quarter. And yeah, really took control of the game. There was 5 players in double figures for the Mercury. You had Tina Charles leading the way with 22 points and 11 boards, but also Skylar Diggins-Smith, 19 points, 6 assists, Diana Taurasi, 15 points, 4 assists, and then Shea Petti as well with 10 points. While off the bench, we already mentioned Diamond Shields, battled some foul trouble, 12 points and 4 assists as well in her first introduction really to the Mercury. So a lot to go into that. What was your favorite part of this victory over the Storm? We can start with Leah, and then I want to hear your thoughts actually as well, Mallory.
Yeah. I mean, I was just happy to see baskets fall, right? Like, I'm happy that offense started to click. Our defense was looking better. Diana said, we're working that defense was looking a little reactive during the game. It was definitely better than our first game, but that they want to start shifting into a more calculated and kind of being a step ahead rather than being kind of like right there or right behind, the other team's offense. So agreeable, right? Like, I was happy to see some improvement, but definitely some room to work with. Like you said, Charles was on fire. Diana brought it up a little bit compared to the Vegas game, right? DeShields came off the bench. Shea Petti, I mean, I want to shout out her first game as well. Like, she almost hit her career high 18 points right out the gate, first game of the season. So that was amazing. Like, it's good to have those consistent players, especially on our bench and in our starting lineup. That is something that not every team has. Phoenix outscored Seattle 26-14 in the fourth quarter. Like, we were just looking good. I was happy to see consistency and easy pace throughout the entire game. Like, no one by the end was looking dog exhausted and ready to just like fall down. So it was good to just see some momentum, see some consistency, and get ready to apply pressure to our own plays and offense and defense moving forward.
Yeah, and for me, the most exciting part was seeing Tina Charles live up to her potential. From 3 rebounds in the game against Las Vegas to 11 rebounds in the game against Seattle. That's much needed for Phoenix with the loss of Brittany Griner at the moment. So seeing her step up to do that, also 22 points, that was exciting for me to see.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, yeah, Mallory, I agree with that, Leah, as well. A big part was seeing, it was gratifying to see the Mercury make shots, especially after that first game where that was so hard to do and the Mercury fell behind so fast. It was like, whoa, okay, let's get any traction here. The Mercury started a lot better, a lot more composed. Shots were going in. You had the 3-ball landing. And yes, Tina Charles is a big proponent of that, not only leading the way in points and rebounds, but really taking over, had like a 14-point third quarter, was really dominant and knocked down all 3 of her threes, felt comfortable in the system in terms of bouncing when she can take shots. And I think it's a great bounce for her at center alongside Brianna Turner, basically playing more of that grinder role offensively. I know she's kind of been center and power forward. Some was going to be slotted more as power forward in this system with the understanding the grinder was going to be there. But now she's able to be more in her kind of natural environment that we've seen throughout most of her career. And that two-player game between her and Diana Taurasi, it really worked well, especially on the pick and roll, where Taurasi would get her early, let her slip, get her late. Like, it came out really well. Pick and pop. You could really see the connections there as players are really starting to get used to playing alongside a player like Charles, who, again, is like Griner in terms of playing inside and up to mid-range, but can also stretch it out all the way to 3.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up, was that chemistry between Tina and Diana was just undeniable, and seeing them kind of get their groove, get a little bit of that like Olympic team glimpse that they had this last year. So
Yes.
that was really, really fun to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we still have more to go. We're going to look into next week's schedule, unveil a whole new segment we have here on the show, and then also, have some numbers to read just on where the Mercury are to get a reaction on how we feel about that. But before we do want to let y'all know that the season has started. In case y'all missed it, the action is here, and y'all can make just the most of another amazing WNBA season with DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn the Mercury's victory. We got a big one over Seattle into your own big win. New customers betting just $5, just $5 on any team, even though we know it's going to be the Mercury, can get $200 back in free bets if they do. I'm telling you, it's really super simple. If they win, you win. And I expect a lot of victories, Aaliyah, so I'm pretty pumped about that.
Me too.
It's going to be fun. I haven't done it just yet. I was going to, but listen, I was watching the game. I was taking notes, super invested. You look up, it's the third quarter, you're like, next time. I don't know if that happened to you, Aaliyah, but I think it's a common thing here, right?
Right.
There you go.
You can always, right? You always reel it in if you're getting a little scared. But
there you go. And I'm glad you brought that up.
I got it for sure.
Exactly. And that's the best thing. Aaliyah just mentioned it. DraftKings Sportsbook customers, you can bet on WNBA hoops with same game parlay. So you can buy multiple bets from the same game, get a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you win. But just like Aaliyah said, let's say you're really deep in the game, you put, Diana's going to knock down 5 threes. Mercury going to win by 12. And you look back, you got focused. You're like, oh, snap. I may have been a little off. Okay, no big deal. Because you can, come take that back a little bit. It's nice to have the option to be able to go out there and put down a secure, safe bet. DraftKings Sportsbook is safe, secure, and reliable. But also know that you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So, I mean, there really is no losing on this, and that's the type of deals I like to get into. If I can always be a winner, listen, I'm not complaining.
There you go.
There it is. So definitely make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the promo code PHNX. Bet just $5 on any WNBA team to win, even though, like I said, it's going to be the Mercury, and then get up to $200 in free bets back when you do. If they win, you win with the promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. One more time, y'all. 21 and older, Arizona only. Gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only with the minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbooks for details. Always get sportsbooks. Sportsbook. DraftKings.com/sportsbook. There we go.
Yes.
Clarity. Love it. So, we do have something here I'm excited to share. We're hopefully going to be building up on that. Hello, Cheryl. We're going to be hopefully going on.
The family's in here right now.
Hey, I love it. Listen, that's great. Thank y'all. But we're going to be building a little thing I'll be keeping track of through the year that the team will be kind of looking at all season long. And that is, right now we're calling the PHNX Mercury Player of the Week and the PHNX Mercury Hustle Player of the Week. And we're going to keep tally of it all season long. Each of us is going to nominate a person. We're going to get whoever has the leading votes will be awarded that award. I'll keep track of that. And at the end of the season, the player who has tallied the most of those votes or nominations will name the award after. So it could be the PHNX Dan Atrossi Player of the Week award, whatever the case may be. But it should be a lot of fun to each compare our own perspective of the game, what we're seeing, what we like, have a nice little bit of conversation, and then keep track of it. Just not only for posterity's sake, but it's kind of cool. I'm a big time capsule fan. I don't know if you guys are a fan of that,
definitely, guys. Shout out Corbin for this idea. I like the idea of a tradition, create our own little thing here. So I'm excited. That's a good idea for sure.
Definitely. Thank you. So we have each of us have brought our nominations. We have not shared them with each other. We also have our writer, a member of our team, Aya Abdeen, as well, who has also submitted her nominations to me. So I will share that on her behalf. But looking at the two games, we can work it along here. Oh my goodness, Auntie Denisa. I'm sorry. I was right here. Auntie Denisa. Thank you.
We saw Mallory's
Auntie D.
mom
Yes.
or something in here earlier too. Something.
Oh
like
man, it's a family affair. That's what it is. We love it. We love it. Thank you.
Family will
watch. Am I me? Sure. Thank you. Oh, I love it, man. Okay, I'm cheesing. All right. Going back though, we're gonna work around just all of us here. We've had 2 games in the books. We'll start with Leah. Who is your PHNX Player of the Week? And then we'll get your Hustle Player as well.
Okay, so my Player of the Week is going to be Tina because I just think she was consistent, brought obviously her charm and offense in both games. Extreme props to her for coming into a new program, new system, new team, new everything. Being a veteran, like she just brought it. I was really happy with how she just came out the gate, like doing her own thing and didn't need any time to adjust. She knows who she is and she knows how to do it. So I was excited for that. And then my Hustle award actually goes to Shea Petti. Like I said, she almost hit her career high in the first game of the season. Like, I can't complain. Like, that's the definition of hustle. And also, came and played well the second game. And, yeah, I was excited with how hard she was working and how much. I know she shared a picture earlier on Twitter, and she was like sitting on the bench with a straight face while everyone's laughing behind her, like just in game mode. And I was like, yeah, see, she's got the mind for it. She knows what she's doing.
I like that. Those are 2 really cool. So Tina Charles and Shea Petti are your 2 nominations.
Yes.
For Player of the Week and Hustle Player. There it is. I'm marking it down. So it's in. It's locked. All right.
Locked in. Final answer.
There we go. Mallory?
So for my PHNX Mercury Player of the Week, if we're going with consistency, like Aaliyah said, I'm going with Diggins-Smith. And I feel like this name is going to be brought up a lot here, but you got to start off strong. 25 points in the first game, and then 19 in the second game. That's all you can ask for from Diggins-Smith. So she's my Player of the Week. And my Hustle Player of the Week is actually Aaliyah's Player of the Week. I'm going Tina Charles because, like I said earlier, I saw her hustle in the second game. She improved tremendously from that first game to the second game. So I'm giving her my Hustle Player of the Week.
All right, there it is. I love it. Okay, so we have for you Tina Charles Hustle Player of the Week and Diggins-Smith as the Player of the Week. That's great. I'm going to read Aya's as well. So Aya's nomination for PHNX Player of the Week was Tina Charles, and her Hustle Player of the Week was Diggins-Smith. So we're gonna have some sort of consistency. These players are here. I guess here I go with the curveball. So my Player of the Week is Diggins-Smith. The curveball's not that.
Out here.
Listen, I'm sorry. My curveball's not that. I know I set it up real dramatic, and then just went with everyone else. I'm sorry. But she set the tone in game 1, even with the loss being what it was against the Aces. I thought she played just as well. Well, not quite as high in terms of the offense production, but so many other players were involved, and she was just consistent as before. So that's why she is my Player of the Week. But my PHNX Hustle Player of the Week award, I'm giving that to Megan Gustafson. And the reason I'm doing that is because I think she came in big, maybe not so much the first game against the Aces, but against Seattle. Brianna Turner was getting involved. You had Tina Charles as well, but you came in for minutes. And yes, there was foul trouble in there a little bit for her, but she was able to get in around the boards. She was able to, cause an impact in terms of finishing around the rim. So far, 6 points and 4 rebounds this season so far through these 2 games. Made all 3 of her shots against Seattle, and I thought she gave the Mercury a big jolt of energy for someone who, coming in, they needed that, especially from a position of need. because it took Tina Charles got going a little bit later, but at the beginning, she was kind of coming in. Brown Turner was coming in. It was her first game back, and I think that Megan gave that shot of energy that the Mercury really rallied behind and kept going, even as she was finding her own win on the court. So that is my wild card Hustle Player of the Week award. I just want to nominate that. It was noticed, and it was really, really cool to see. But with that being said, because I easily just got caught up in all the nominations, I think that we have I was trying to write it down. Okay, this is live radio. I love it. Looking at this, I think Tina Charles, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, Tina Charles. So I'm looking at that. No, we had 2, 1 for Tina Charles, 2 for Tina Charles, and 2 for Skylar Diggins-Smith. So, I'm sorry. Mallory, do you want to change yours? You're going to lock yours in? I'm willing to change, or we can just put them as co. I'm okay with that for the first week. Tying it?
I think we can tie it first week. We got a lot of season left.
I feel like we can have the fans choose the tiebreaker. Like we can post it on Twitter. Post this on Twitter and ask them.
Yeah, a little Twitter poll.
Yes.
That's an amazing idea. I'm totally on board with that, Molly. Okay, great. So that's what we'll do there. In fact, we might as well do it for both. I think we have all of us brought unique and varied takes to the table for the Hustle Player of the Week. So we have a nomination for Shea Petti. We have one for Skylar Diggins. We have one for Tina Charles, and we have one for Megan Gustafson. So we have 4 different players. We can get a consensus as well through social media, on Twitter at PHNX Mercury. Like Mallory said, we'll pull out there. Give your feedback in. Next show, we'll put out the final official results, and all of us will be happy with that because, we just love seeing the Mercury win. That's the big thing.
Exactly.
But I love it. That's cool. Look, okay. I like the fact that we all kind of mixed it up a little bit. Yeah, that was cool. So we'll see what our lovely audience decides, and we'll go from that from there with that. I'm really pumped for that. But looking to next week, before we do, I do want to recap where the Mercury stand this week, just in terms of numbers. So, Corner Basketball Reference is something I like to do to keep track of what we're seeing, any trends of the team. They are 1-1. They're third in the WNBA Western Conference. Funnily enough, as much as we talked about the Aces, and yes, small sample size, totally get it, just 2 games. But the Mercury are number 1 in WNBA in points per game and offensive rating. Just saying, the Aces are number 2. So that big game against Seattle probably helped. But it is saying that the Mercury are also very much capable of lighting that scoreboard up, right? Defensively, the Mercury are 11th of 12, and then middle of the pack in terms of net rating at 6 out of 12. So, Ali, do you have any thoughts on just where the Mercury stand so far? Really early, we understand that. But I was surprised, first and foremost, by offensive rating being number 1, because I think I found the number 2. The Aces are just an electric team, but as we've seen, so are the Mercury.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was also a little bit surprised for how highly they were ranked, but also I think that's just fuel, right? Like I think overall, and when we get down the line, we're gonna be like, no, that's right where we deserve to be. So I think it shows how much not only us but other people have faith in this team, and how on paper we're solid. We just need to put that paper to the court.
There it is. Absolutely. And I think that's something I'm looking forward to seeing, maybe a trend catching up and seeing if the Mercury can maybe claw back more in the middle of the pack in terms of defensive rating. We see where they are offensively. You love where that is, right? Mm-hmm. Net rating wise, they're already middle of the pack. So again, we'll have a couple more games in the sample by next week to kind of go back on. But if they can get, maybe 6 or 7 defensive rating, I'm not complaining,
Yeah, definitely need to work on that defense. We've been saying it the whole time. Clean it up, get consistency, push a little harder. We'll be good.
Absolutely. And taking that mindset and going straight through to next week, the Mercury have a game this weekend, and they have one on Tuesday. Tuesday is a revenge game. But let's start against Saturday, because both these opponents is very funny. I like the symmetry of it. They're playing opponents that we've already played so far this first week. Saturday, they will be at Seattle at 12 p.m. Pacific time, playing the Storm. And so we can talk about that and what we're kind of looking to see. And then Tuesday at 7, they'll be playing the Las Vegas Aces. Again, this will be at Las Vegas. So 2 road games before they bring it back when we go live Thursday next week. They will be also playing back home against the Dallas Wings. And that'll be the game we'll talk about then. But looking at the Storm and the Aces, what do you hope to see from both from the Mercury in both spaces in regards to how to attack the Storm and the Aces, both teams that we've seen different results with so far this season?
Yeah, so for Storm, obviously, I don't know if Brandon Stewart will be back or not. I really hope you can't hear my dog barking. If she is back, I want to see us hit harder, bring that consistency. Obviously, I guess you could say they have a home court advantage, but I don't know. I would argue that we don't play that well at home. So I like playing on the road a little bit better. We have a better track record that way. But yeah, keep that consistency with Seattle. Don't come in thinking that we're top dog. And then with Vegas, I mean, we got to turn it up, right? Like they have an amazing fan base, so they're gonna have the whole place filled, and we've seen what they can do. So we got to bring it. We got to bring our A game, and we got to come in swinging because it didn't look too hot last time.
Oh, we got a super sticker from Auntie Lisa came through. We're gonna listen. Auntie Lisa on the show. Feel free. That's why I'm gonna just say it publicly. Let's all address it. Wow, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate that. Wow, and listen, I am not only smiling because of that, but I'm smiling in just reaction to what you said, Lee, in terms of looking at what the Mercury can do in their next game. I agree with you. I think bringing that same energy, looking for the same result against Seattle is going to be huge. But I'm looking at Las Vegas, especially when you get hit in the mouth like that. You get such a shock result. You're like, okay, listen, we didn't have two key members of our team. We saw the impact that Diamond DeShields and Brianna Turner had against Seattle. So now we have them in the fold. Now you have some more athleticism, both around the basket and on the wings. What can we do here, to match up against this team that, you got us. You got us the first, you got us in the first half. We ain't going to lie. But, we're going to do now to get back and make this a thing. So I am pumped. I think Tuesday for me is like the game of the week already. Just because I love to see how a team comes back against adversity, and especially a veteran team like the Mercury after such a shocking or disappointing loss like that. Okay, you got us now. Let's see what we bring to the table and what adjustments we make for the second game. So I'm definitely excited about that. Real quick, last question for both of y'all. Of these two games, I've named the one I'm pumped for. Are you excited to see Seattle one more time? I mean, anytime we get Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, I get that. We can recreate the good times we had last week. Are you looking more toward Las Vegas and clashing with the Aces? What is your game of the week?
I think I'm more excited for Vegas. We have our full roster back, and I want to see what we can do. We know, like I said, we know what to expect. We know what they're coming in with, and so I want to see how we can react. How can we regroup from coming off a tough first game loss? I think if we can keep doing what we can do, what we've been doing, Seattle's going to be a piece of cake again, and yeah. So I'm more excited for Vegas for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, the Diana Taurasi Sue Bird matchup is always legendary, two of the greatest in the game for sure. So it's always exciting to see. But also, like Aaliyah said, I'm looking for that bounce back game against the Aces. So I'm super pumped to see that game as well.
Absolutely. I'm just as pumped and excited. We're going to have a lot of fun next week when we come back on here to recap the games of this past week, go back some new nominations, and project on to next week, including a game against a new opponent in the Wings and also the Sparks, and then also another rematch with the Aces. So we'll have a lot more to go off of in the future. I can't wait. I'm one of those people that if I'm reading a book, I got to go ahead, so I got to share it with the viewers. We're going to have a lot of projecting and excitement here on the PHNX Mercury show. But anything you want to say, Lee, before we sign off here, Mallory, as well? As always, this has been a blast. I'm pumped. I'm hyped. 1-1, that's okay. Plenty of season left to go. It's exciting. And, each game, let's get it. That's where I'm at right now.
Yes, for sure. Me too. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to say that the season has finally started.
Yes.
And shout out. I'm going to try to get my first article out this week, so stay tuned for that and keep up with our Twitter for when that drops. Make sure to read it and share it, you guys. And yes, my mom said, woof, we're a Huskies family, so go Dogs. Excited to see what next week brings, and go Merc.
Yes, go Mercury. Follow us on Twitter at PHNX_Mercury and check out our website at gophnx.com to see Aaliyah's first article.
There it is. It's going to be exciting, y'all. Can't wait till next week. Thanks so much, as always, just hanging with y'all. Thank you for everyone in the comments for the support and the love. We appreciate it. We appreciate y'all. Until next time, until next week, Thursday at 7. Go Mercury.